Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about the life of one of the most inspiring and influential figures in modern history, Nelson Mandela. He was a man who dedicated his life to fighting for justice, equality, and freedom, and his legacy continues to inspire people all over the world.
Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela was South Africa's first democratically elected president, 1994 to 1999. Rolihlahla Mandela was born into the Madiba clan in the village of Mavezo, in the Eastern Cape, on July 18, 1918. His mother was Nonkafi Noskini and his father was Nkosi Mfakanyiswa Gadla Mandela, principal counselor to the acting king of the Thembu people, Jongintaba Dalindyebo. In 1930, when he was 12 years old, his father died and the young Rolihlahla became a ward of Jongintaba at the Great Place in Kakewini. Hearing the elders' stories of his ancestors' valor during the wars of resistance, he dreamed also of making his own contribution to the freedom struggle of his people. He took admission to South African Native College, later the University of Fort Hare. He studied law at the University of the Witwatersrand and later passed the qualification exam to become a lawyer. He joined the African National Congress, ANC, in 1944, which was a black liberation group. He became a leader of its youth league. Nelson Mandela married thrice and had fathered 6 children, 20 grandchildren. He married Evelyn Toko Mace. The couple had 2 sons. Nelson Mandela's second wife, Winnie Madikizela Mandela, where she was the first black social worker in the city. The couple had 2 daughters. In 1998, on his 80th birthday, Mandela married Graça Michelle, née Simbine, the widow. He traveled across the country and tried to build support for nonviolent means of protest against the discriminatory laws. He was also involved in drafting the Freedom Charter in 1955. It was a document calling for non-racial social democracy in South Africa. His anti-apartheid activism made him a frequent target of the authorities. He was arrested in December 1956 with more than 100 other people on charges of treason that were designed to harass anti-apartheid activists. In the same year, he went on trial and eventually was acquitted in 1961. During the extended court proceedings, he divorced his first wife and married Nomzamo Winifred Madikizela Winnie Madikizela Mandela. However, in 1960, a tragic event occurred that changed everything. The Sharperville massacre saw 69 protesters killed by police, and the ANC was banned. Mandela realized that peaceful protests were no longer enough and formed a militant wing of the ANC known as Umkhonto we Sizwe, or Spear of the Nation. In 1962, Mandela was arrested and sentenced to life imprisonment on Robben Island, a prison off the coast of Cape Town. He spent 27 years in prison, but his spirit remained unbroken. During his incarceration period, he received wide support from South Africa's black population, and his imprisonment became a cause célèbre among the international community that condemned apartheid. After 1983, the political situation in South Africa's deteriorated, and particularly after 1988, he was engaged by ministers of President P.W. Bota's government in exploratory negotiations. In December 1989, he met with Bota's successor, de Klerk. The South African government released Mandela from prison under President de Klerk on February 11, 1990. Shortly after the release, he was chosen deputy president of the ANC. In July 1991, he became the president of the party. He led the ANC in negotiations with de Klerk to end apartheid and bring a peaceful transition to non-racial democracy in South Africa. On April 27, 1994, South Africa's first democratic elections were held in which full enfranchisement was given. In the election, the ANC won the vote, and Nelson Mandela, as ANC leader, was inaugurated as the country's first black president. During his presidency, Mandela worked tirelessly to heal the wounds of apartheid and promote reconciliation between the different racial groups in South Africa. As president, Mandela established the Truth and Reconciliation Commission to investigate human rights and political violations committed by both supporters and opponents of apartheid between 1960 and 1994. He also introduced numerous social and economic programs designed to improve the living standards of South Africa's black population. In 1999, he retired from politics at the end of his first term as president. In 1994, the autobiography Long Walk to Freedom, which shows his early life and years in prison, was published. After leaving office, Nelson Mandela remained a devoted champion for peace and social justice in his own country and around the world. He established a number of organizations, including the influential Nelson Mandela Foundation and the Elders, an independent group of public figures committed to addressing global problems and easing human suffering. Retirement and death. Nelson Mandela was diagnosed and treated for prostate cancer in the summer of 2001. Mandela declared in June 2004, at the age of 85, that he would retire from public life. His health had been deteriorating, and he and his family decided to spend more time. He passed away on December 5, 2013, at the age of 95, after suffering from a prolonged respiratory infection. He died, surrounded by his relatives, at his home in Houghton, Johannesburg. July 18 was officially declared as Nelson Mandela International Day by United Nations in 2009, and the day was first celebrated on July 18, 2010. Awards. Mandela received the Nobel Prize for Peace in 1993. He had received many awards and accolades in his lifetime from various countries and organizations. India awarded him the Bharat Ratna in 1990.
Nelson Mandela passed away in 2013, but his legacy lives on. He continues to inspire people all over the world to fight for justice, equality, and freedom. Mandela once said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." And that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed learning about the life of Nelson Mandela. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.